if I'm being completely honest with myself, I think I have to admit that I have been pretty uninspired with photography lately. Not all photography, just the photography that I've been making, which makes it hard to create internet videos. But I'm still very much in love with photography. I still watch James Pappas and Adrian Singleton on a regular. And so I think that in order to find my own inspiration, I just have to get back to basics. I think maybe if I were speaking to one of my own children, or if I were giving someone some advice about how to reclaim the inspiration that they feel that they have lost, I think the wisdom that I would try to share is that somehow you have to get back to just doing the things that you did before that kind of brought forth that inspiration. And so for me, immediately that just means that I need to get back to some basics. If you are someone who has been watching this channel for a while, there's a couple things that you know about me. I'm Jamil, this is a boy named Jamil. Welcome back to a video. I am a portrait photographer from Chicago, and my favorite lens to do my photography with is a 50mm. I see the world that way. I see portraits that way. It's just my favorite focal length. So this is definitely one of those places where, like, just having a little bit of patience kind of pays off because of the way that everything reflects off of this window. And then I think if you can see through the window, there's like an LED that says like playtime. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but if I hang back here long enough, I can get someone to kind of walk through the frame. This is another one of those scenes where I feel like just having some patience would pay off if someone just walked through one of the footpaths. But in all the time that I've been coming into Oak Park to shoot, I don't think that I've ever seen anyone come out of here. Speaking of 50mm, the problem that I was having, if you guys have followed this channel for a while, you guys know that I shoot most of my street photography with this A7C. And because of that, the only 50mm that I had is this 50mm f1.2 G Master. Fantastic lens. In fact, this might be my favorite lens that I've ever bought. And though I never ever think that this lens is heavy when I have it mounted on my A7R4, as you can see, this is a huge package. But when I have it, it's not that huge, relatively speaking. But when I'm walking around and I'm shooting street photography, and I'm 6'5", 230 plus pounds, 250 pounds, it's not conspicuous at all. But when I put it onto this A7C, this becomes terribly unbalanced. And so what I've been trying to do is find a lens that I could use as sort of an everyday carry. And over Christmas, I was gifted this 40mm, which was working out fine. I've actually been shooting with this 40mm quite a lot. And as a walk-around lens, it's fantastic. It's tiny, it fits on the A7C pretty amazingly. And so this is the package that I've been walking around with since about, December 26th or so, since about around Christmas. And so as you can see, when you compare the packages, this is, a lot more conspicuous, I guess. Inconspicuous, that's the right word, inconspicuous when I'm walking around and doing street photography. But the problem is that this 40 millimeter is not 50 millimeters. And I know that, you know, the common feeling is that you can just, you know, move your feet to sort of bridge the gap. But it doesn't really work that way once you have your shot sort of, when you have your composition the way that you want it. You know, moving your feet to kind of find the proper sort of focal length that you're looking for doesn't really work out that way. So, surprise, surprise, I was on Instagram one day and VILTROX, this announcement that they were releasing this 50 millimeter Air f2.0, and they were looking for people who wanted to test it out. And you know, you put your name in the hat and then they would pick 12 or 13 people. And it turns out that I was one of those people who they picked. So they sent me this tiny little, oh no, it's windy. They sent me this tiny little 50 millimeter f2.0 Air. And as you guys can see, it is pretty much the same size as this 40 millimeter. It's a little thicker. This one is a 58 millimeter thread, and this one is a 52, so it's a little thicker, but they probably weigh the same amount. And so when this 50 millimeter is mounted on this A7C, it becomes a proper little 50 millimeter everyday carry that I've been looking for. I looked at the Sony version of that compact 50 millimeter 2.5. That one is about $600. It seemed like, you know, more money than I wanted to spend on, you know, a walk around 50 millimeter that I would just use for, you know, street photography, especially considering that I already have a $2,000 50 millimeter. But this one has been, I got delivery on this Sunday, so about a week ago. And I've just been walking around testing it out, you know, taking some photos of my kids. And it seems to be a pretty good addition to this sort of budget compact kit that I'm putting together. So as far as like budget compact lenses, I now have the 50 millimeter f2.0 from VILTROX. I have the 40 millimeter f2. What is that? 2.8, 2.5. What is that 40 millimeter? Yeah, 40 millimeter f2.5. And I also have the VILTROX 28 millimeter f2.0. And so it's a nice little budget walk around kit that I can use for this A7C. I'm not ready to make a full review on this lens yet. I do want to test it out a bit more, but as sort of a first impressions, it seems to be working out really well. As far as image quality, there's still a lot to be wanted, you know, especially if I'm comparing it to my G Master. But you know, I think a lot of people would get upset if I did that. I don't know what the price is going to be on this lens yet, but I think we'll talk about that in the full review. But yeah, as a quick little like first impressions video, I'm really satisfied with what I've been able to get out of this, especially as just a 50 millimeter that fits and balances well on this A7C. So let's talk about some housekeeping. One, VILTROX and I don't have any type of relationship. Again, this was just a contest that they put up on Instagram. I put my name in, and yeah, they picked me as one of the 12 people who gets to test out this lens. I do get to keep it, and so I don't know if that changes, you know, how you guys think, you know, my opinions will be, but I'll tell you this. I'm making this video. I've had almost no contact with VILTROX, and it turns out that all I have to do is just put some hashtags in any of the content that I create, and then that's the agreement. They're not seeing this video before anyone else. Most importantly, if you're someone who has been here for a long time, you know that I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. There's not going to be any links in the description or anything like that, so I'm not making any money. And so that's it. That's what is going on in this video. And so, yeah, like I said,